you're up here because, for a lot of reasons, but the elders in our church have asked us to talk about some numbers. So I don't know what kind of numbers really they're referring to. If you want to talk about the Ohio Lotto numbers? No,
I don't know what they
no. How many Buckeyes were drafted into the,
Probably a lot.
Yeah, I don't know what else we're...
Hello.
Okay, all right. What kind of numbers are we want to...
Let's stay focused on the. Let's stay focused here. We got some numbers. Can you put those numbers, the first set of numbers, up on the screen? So the number 3. This is the number of people who got baptized on Easter morning. If you were here, that was just a great time to hear their stories and celebrate their baptism. 5 is the number of prayer nights we've had here. Which Wednesday of the month? First Wednesday of the month. We had 5 of those since the first of the year, which has been great. 26. What's 26? The percentage. So if you go back a year ago, April a year ago, there's 26% attendance increase from a year ago, which is really encouraging. 39. We've had 39 adults visit Grace Point since the first of the year. That's been encouraging. And then 150 are the number of kids that came to the Easter egg hunt that were not from Grace Point, so from the community. So those are really good numbers, which all reflect like a lot of great volunteers and a lot of great staff and a calendar planning that we've done, a lot of good stuff. It's been really great, some good numbers.
After a couple of years with the pandemic and every church not knowing what in the world to do and what we're supposed to be doing, is that him? Me? Am I doing? It's Tom. Of course it's Tom.
Go ahead, Terry.
So it really is encouraging to see our church come back to life and people being involved. But that's not really why the elders ask us to go up here.
No, it's not.
There's another number.
It is part of it, but it's not the whole thing. So yes, there's a lot of great things going on, a lot of great numbers. And one thing I just want to make sure everybody knows, we've stayed staffed at pre-pandemic levels. We've stayed budgeted at pre-pandemic levels because though we're a smaller church than we were 2 years ago. 2 years ago we had 2 services, now we have 1. We do expect that to grow again, so we've staffed up to be healthy now and healthy later. But that pre-planning has caused some other numbers to be true. The first one's $16,000. $16,000 is the average monthly shortfall we've had in our tithing since January, so about $16,000 a month. That's a big number. A little smaller number is 170. There's about 170 active families right now at Grace Point. And 119 are the number of those families who have given something, anywhere from $1 to $10,000 since January. So that's like 70% of people, which is awesome. $25, that's really the number that we're here to kind of present to you today. $25 is if all 170 families would increase their monthly tithe or their weekly tithe about $25 a month or a week, that equals $16,000. Now, for some people, $25 is a lot of money, and God's fully aware of that. And for other people, $25 is like 5 trips to Starbucks, no big deal at all. God's aware of that as well. But the point is, what starts out as a big number, $16,000, turns out to be a pretty small number when you do the math, which I like math. Math's my friend. One more number, 8.5%. That's the annualized inflation rate through the month of April. This is a really bad time to be asking all of the church family to chip in more towards this church family's health. But it is what it is. We know gas costs more and groceries cost more, but we really would like to start off this next ministry year at a really healthy tithing level. So those are the
Let me
numbers.
pause you. Let me see if I understand it, which I'm the guy in the elders meeting that asked you to repeat it 3 times.
Yes.
So $16,000 a month is the shortfall.
Correct.
And you're saying with 170 families, if each of us gave $25 more a week,
right,
then we would be back to where we need to be to run a healthy church.
That is how the math works out.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So
and our hope is after a year or 2, once we've grown back to where we were or beyond where we were, then we're all good again. But we'd like to get back to that healthy spot.
Okay, let's talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
So you all have surprised us. You continue to surprise us. Our sort of expectation was, hey, we don't need to go to 2 services until the fall because once Easter hits, then people stop coming. They start doing other activities. And you kept coming, which is great. And you invited your neighbors. And some of you who have moved into the area have found it now's the time to find a good, loving church. And you've come. And today I'm thinking, well, that's going to change today because there's commencement all over. And there's parties to get ready for. And here's another full house. So, yes, interesting. We're glad you're here. But you know as well as we do that this room is getting filled up. And at some point, we're going to need to add a church service. And so we have talked about this as a staff. How much time would it get ready to recruit volunteers and organize everything to be able to do 2 services? And we've got the date of August 14th, Sunday, August 14th, circled on the calendar. That seems to be where school life starts everything fresh. That's when we will promote all of our kids' ministry. Everybody goes up a grade level. On Sunday, August 14th, we're going to be launching our second service. So right now, we have planned on, starting on that date, we're going to have a 9 o'clock service and a 10:30 service. Say that with me, 9 o'clock and 10:30. So here's the downside, is you're starting to all get to know one another in one service, and that's been great. Why would we go to 2 services? I can still find a seat, Pastor Terry. I might have to sit by somebody I don't really want to, but there's a seat for me. We don't really do it for us that are here today, do we? We do it because you can drive a circle just a couple of miles around this building, and you can see thousands of homes being built. We're going to start that second service because we feel like the Lord wants us to continue to make room to be able to give hope to those families who are looking for a way to make a connection in a good way. Okay, you want us to be in a position so that we're ready for that.
Ready for that.
But we need to catch up.
Yeah, we need to catch up.
What else you want to say about that?
Well, there's one more number.
Yeah.
The number 0, I didn't put it up on the screen, but people ask me, because I'm the finance guy, so people ask me all the time, are you worried about this kind of stuff? And my percentage of worry is 0, because we've been doing this 22 years, I think, ish. Yep. So far, whenever there's been a hole, God's filled the hole back in. So I'm not really worried at all. But one thing I am concerned about as a pastor is that any Grace Point family would miss out on what happens when you just trust God and see what happens. I know it could sound a little self-serving, and maybe, I'm sure there's a slice of it that is, but the vast majority of our desire for you, for all of us, is to experience what it's like to give God your all and just see what happens, trust Him with it. So I'd love to see that happen. By the way, you might be asking, if I were you, I'd be asking, well, could we see the budget? Actually, you can. So every week you get an email. By the way, if you don't get an email from us every week, tell us and we'll get it to you. But in that email is a tithing update and a link to our budget. So you can always find out what we've been expecting and how we're going to spend it and all that kind of stuff.
All right. Just a reminder, if you're not a regular giver here, there's lots of ways to do that. On our app, on our website, there's always a give button there that you can get signed up to start doing that. We also have some boxes that are black boxes in the back of the room that if you ever bring a check and you want to contribute there's different ways to contribute. So we're going to let all of that sink in and see what the Lord does as we sing one more worship song. And then Tom's going to get up here and preach.
Get a new mic, yeah.